Over to you, Kamal.
Thank you. Hi, good evening, and good afternoon in some parts of the world. Welcome to my session, What's Cooking in Dynamics 365 Human Resources Kitchen. Before I actually start the session, thanks to all the sponsors of this event, without whom this event would not have been possible. Resco, MSCRM add-ons, and RSM. Thanks a lot for the opportunity. A quick introduction about me. I'm Kamal. I live in the Netherlands and work as a lead consultant at 4Vision. I specialize in human resources domain and help customers adopt Dynamics 365 HR into their organization and also align it with the rest of the IT solution stack from Microsoft. So that's what I do. And what I've planned for today's session is to share what Dynamics 365 Human Resources is all about and the functional capabilities it offers to the customers, and also to understand briefly how it aligns with the rest of the business applications and Power Platform. The core of the session is, of course, to run through what features the Microsoft development team is working on as part of the October wave and when it will be available for preview and general availability. At the end of the session, I have a small demo of how Teams and Dynamics 365 Human Resources work together. Um, Before I start the topics, a short disclaimer from my end. The views and opinions expressed in the session and my blog are my own and do not reflect that of anybody else or any other organization. And I am a critically thinking human being, and my views are subject to change from time to time. So don't hold me for it in the future if something is changed. So before we actually understand what Dynamics 365 HR is all about, let's try to look at an overview of what human resources is. What we're looking at on screen is a simple hire to retire process flow. We have a company called Hogwarts Manufacturing, which just won a new project to deliver some services to a customer. And the managers within the company identify that they do not have enough people to be able to deliver the project successfully. So they come up with some job requisitions to hire new employees to the organization and reach out to the HR team and request the HR team to conduct a recruitment process to be able to hire new employees. The HR team typically reaches out to different job portals and posts the jobs, for example, LinkedIn or any other job portal in the world. And they conduct a recruitment process in which candidates are screened through and interviews are conducted with different hiring managers and other people in the organization. And at the end of the recruitment process, a candidate is successful and is hired into the organization as an employee. And once the employee is hired into the organization, other HR processes like performance management or leave and absence management or timesheet and attendance kicks in, and employee is part of the life cycle process, basically. And eventually all employees either leave the organization to different companies for better prospects, or stay within the company and retire as part of the workforce. So this is a very simple hire to retire life cycle from a HR perspective. With this in mind, when we look at what Dynamics 365 Human Resources is all about, it is a cloud-based software as a service application built to transform and connect the experiences of a HR professional, a manager, and an employee together. And it is also focused in providing some key data insights to the HR professionals, something like how many employees have we hired in the last 6 months, and how many employees have left the organization in the last 6 months, and what are the reasons for the employees leaving the organization. Or in some scenarios, the HR teams and the organization will also want to understand what are the different skills available within the company in their workforce, and are those skills are sufficient enough to meet the customer demands in the future? If not, how can we plan to skill up the workforce to be able to meet the customer demands? So these are some of the key performance indicators that HR professionals analyze from time to time. And the Dynamics 365 Human Resources is a solution that will help HR professional with such data insights, using which the HR teams are empowered to be part of strategic decisions of organizations, and help organizations be more efficient and competitive with changing market conditions. That's a brief about what Dynamics 365 Human Resources is all about. And when we look at the vision from Microsoft for D365 HR, it is to create a seamless IT solution experience to customers by connecting Dynamics 365 Human Resources with the rest of the business applications and Microsoft 365 solution stack and Azure. With that in mind, again, let's go a bit deeper into the functional capabilities that Dynamics 365 HR offers to the customers. What we are looking at now is the functional overview of D365 HR. It is a solution which is primarily focused on supporting a seamless end-to-end employee lifecycle experience with all three personas, the HR professionals, the employees, and managers. And the functional areas, what we see are the key areas that support this process. What we see on the top right corner is organization administration, which is helping the companies define the legal and country structure along with the departments. And it also has capabilities to segregate the workforce based on jobs and positions. Then we have personnel management, which is a functional area focused on HR administrators. It helps in capturing and maintaining the employee data focused on hire to retire life cycle. Then we have compensation and benefits, which is another key area that helps in capturing data such as fixed compensation or variable compensation or other benefit entitlements of employees. The key aspect of compensation and benefits is that it aligns these data capture of employee information with the country localization and regulation requirements. That way, the system that is used to capture the data is compliant with local authorities. Then we have the area leave and absence, which is a key area from Microsoft that is being enhanced as part of Release 2020. The focus is to make the solution meet almost all country regulations across the world, and also to improve employee and manager experience by enhancing and delivering solutions like Teams app for D365 HR, where the employees and managers are able to collaborate on leave requests via Teams and not having to go to Dynamics application, etc. So the idea is to make the employee experience smoother and more engaging within the organization. I have more details about it in the upcoming part of the presentation. Then we have the functional area system administration, which is focused on the IT lifecycle of D365 HR and helps in managing things like enabling preview features or migrating data into the system, or enabling notifications and setting up the different parameters related to it, etc. When we look at reporting and analytics, like I said, it's one of the key areas from a human resource standpoint that helps HR professionals. And Dynamics 365 Human Resources is the application that comes with an amazing set of reporting and analytics out of the box. It can be used from day one of implementation once the data is available in the environments. Employee development is all about managing employees' goals, skills, and performance reviews. It also has some capability to support 360-degree feedback between employees, where one employee can share feedback with the others, and that can be part of the performance reviews between the employee and managers in the future. To end with, we have employee self-service and manager self-service capabilities, which is mainly focused on giving access to key data to the employees and managers who are more frontline, and giving access to this data in an easy, accessible way will help them be more efficient in their day jobs, and also to communicate the information from employees' perspective to the HR professionals. So that's a brief overview of what Dynamics 365 Human Resources offers to the customers. And when we look at how the solution aligns with the rest of the business applications from Microsoft and Power Platform, we notice that Dynamics 365 HR is one of the core applications on the finance and operations stack, and it works very closely with the other applications like finance or supply chain management or project service automation. It is also closely aligned with the first-party customer engagement applications like commerce or sales or marketing or customer success. Employee data is one of the key master data that is used across all the business processes. And D365 HR is a core requirement to capture the data and also use it across different applications. It is also connected with Power Platform via the Common Data Service, which is primarily focused in supporting the customer extensibility scenarios and also to enable the integration of HR data with the rest of the business applications from Microsoft. The other two key elements that are worth mentioning, which are generic to business applications from Microsoft. One is the artificial intelligence capability and the insights capability that Microsoft is working on and embedding across all the business applications, with the goal of making companies move from reactive decision making into data-driven proactive decision-making organizations. The other aspect is mixed reality applications like Dynamics 365 guides, which will help customers adopt to the new normal and changing market conditions with the impact of pandemics such as COVID-19. The focus again is to help organizations improve their efficiency and accuracy of meeting customer needs. There were some amazing case studies that were presented by Microsoft of using Dynamics 365 guides and how it improves customers' delivery capabilities significantly. So the core of today's session is to look at the roadmap features that the product team has planned to work on during release 2020 wave 2. So the concepts that we discussed so far will act as a base to be able to correlate better and understand what features are available and what Microsoft is currently working on for the future. As a starting point, again, let's look at overview of the focus areas from Microsoft for release 2020 wave 2. There are 5 focus areas defined for Dynamics 365 Human Resources by the product development team as part of October wave. The first focus area is about Teams app for D365 HR, which will help employees and managers collaborate on leave requests via Teams without having to go to Dynamics. This is primarily focused in improving the employee and manager experience and how they engage with the organization internally to have discussions about approvals, for example, or where they submit the leave request, etc. It's one of the factors that helps employees do things more easily. The next area is looking at the leave and absence and benefits management capabilities that are being enhanced as part of Wave 2. As part of Wave 1 of Release 2020, these areas have been significantly revamped with major functional enhancements. And we continue to see more features coming through in this area as part of Wave 2 in order to make the solutions better and also to deliver improved capabilities. The new focus area from Microsoft as part of Wave 2 is building APIs to expose D365 HR data to external recruitment and payroll applications. The key of this focus is to help customers define more complex HR architectural landscapes, especially focused on multi-country organizations where a company is operating in different geographies, and typically there are different local payroll providers that are supporting the organization. And building these APIs will help partners and also customers to define those architectural landscape and work towards building a more seamless solution. We also see more investment in the integration area to connect D365 HR with Azure Active Directory and Microsoft Outlook with some specific scenarios, which we will look at next. The last focus area is about reporting and analytics, where some of the most requested features are being enabled in Wave 2. With that overview, let's dive a bit deeper on each of these areas to understand the specific features that are planned and how it impacts the customers and partners. To start with, we have benefits management, which is a continuation of the features that were delivered from Wave 1, and there are more enhancements coming in Wave 2. As part of Release 2020 Wave 1, the functional capability was more or less completely revamped, but a few key pieces of functionality were missing. And one of them was benefits management workspace, which will be dedicated to benefit managers to manage the administration of processing the changes and to track annual enrollment updates in a central overview. So they have the benefits managers in a company have a central place to go to get an overview of which employees have changed, what benefit enrollments, and how to process further on those changes. The other key feature related to benefits management is the notification capability that is focused on employees, so that the benefit managers are able to notify the upcoming enrollment events and different benefits that the employees are qualified for. So that's about benefits management. From an employee self-service and manager self-service perspective, the key area is the general availability of Teams app that will let the employees book leave and submit it for approval on Teams directly. And also there are some minor enhancements, which is giving the capability for managers to get the approval notification directly on Teams, and also having the capability to approve it directly from Teams. Also, for employees and managers, there is a leave and absence calendar capability available within the Teams app, which is a major enhancement, so that the employees and managers can have a view of which employees are taking time off in what periods, and how the team can function together, so that there is not a lot of overlap in planning the time off. The overall capability of teams is to make the employee and manager experience as smooth as possible, and also to make the employees and managers stay within teams for collaboration, and not having to go to Dynamics, for example, to book leave. The other features planned for this wave from employee and manager self-service capabilities are to enable custom links on manager self-service. This is one of the features that was already available for employees on employee self-service, but is being extended into manager self-service now. What it does is basically have some external URLs as custom links on self-service workspace. It can be an intranet site, or it can be an external application or ISV extension that is supporting the organization's requirement. That is all embedded within the manager self-service workspace. So managers or employees can click from this workspace and go into the external URL. The other feature is to enable managers have access to attachments of the team members on self-service. So this is again something that was already available for employees and is being enhanced to be available for managers on self-service. The next area we are looking at is integrations and extensibility. Based on the roadmap planned, it looks like there is a good amount of investment from Microsoft in this area to support both the customers and partners in a better way. The key features that can be highlighted in this area are APIs being developed to support recruitment integrations, and also features to support open position requests by managers on self-service. LinkedIn Talent Hub integration is finally on the roadmap. So this was one of the aspects that was being discussed after the acquisition of LinkedIn by Microsoft. Many CDS physical entities are being added continuously as part of continuous enhancements, but also there is an architectural change that is being planned to improve the overall integration and availability of D365 HR data using virtual entities on CDS. So this is one of the new features that is already available in public preview and can be tested by partners and customers. The other two key areas of integration are Azure Active Directory for employee master data integration and approved leave request with Microsoft Outlook to provide an availability overview of employees on Outlook calendars. The key to know about this integration is if an employee is taking off on Dynamics 365 human resources, then it would block out, or the expectation from the roadmap item is that it would manage to enter the data in the Outlook calendar so that it's available across the organization in an easier way and across different platforms. That's about integrations and extensibility. Next, when we look at leave and absence, there has been quite a lot of investment in this area as part of wave 1 of release 2020, and the results of those enhancements are outstanding so far. This is one of the areas that is contributing significantly in our customer engagements with enriched functionality to be able to meet country localization requirements for leave, and it specifically impacts organizations again working out of different countries, and on the implementation side, it is impacting the multi-country rollouts and how we plan the implementations. But as part of wave 2, we see more enhancements coming through in this area, such as manage a cross-company view of leave. At the moment, the if a manager has employees reporting to him or her from different legal entities, the view is limited, and that is being solved as part of wave 2. And there are additional insights on leave balances that will be available. There is also a common workflow enhancement roadmap item that will ease the user experience for managers and employees on the system. There are small items that I will discuss in the next slide. And as mentioned, the key integration capability related to leave is the integration of approved leave into Microsoft Outlook, which will impact some of the organizations significantly. So when we look at workflow enhancements, the user interface of approval workflow, although is good at the moment, there is a plan to improve it further and make it more obvious. So when a manager gets approval notification, it's available on the landing page of the application. And also the buttons that are used to approve or reject workflow is being made more that are planned as part of October Wave roadmap for D365 HR. But the key from customers and partners' perspective is to understand when all this will be available and how to plan the implementation of these features as part of their projects. So in order to explain that and also to make it easier to have those discussions, I've created two timeline slides. So the first one, what we see here is the timeline of the availability of these new features that are planned in public preview. And what you can notice is the majority of the capability is planned to be delivered for testing in October and November 2020, with small amount of remaining features planned to be available for public preview in December, Jan, and February. You can use this timeline to plan your project's design and testing phases, because the features will be available in the sandbox environments, and you can utilize the public preview capability to enable them, design your solutions and test, and also log bugs or share feedback with Microsoft Teams. And once that phase is complete, you can align with the general availability timeline for go live, which is shown on my next slide. So what we are looking at now is basically the GA timeline. And we notice that the general availability release of features is mainly spread between November and March timeline. And basically all customers and partners have to align the project go live activities based on this timeline. So we can use the public preview timeline to plan the design and testing phases, but on the go live scenario, we have to plan the project timelines based on this slide. Because the advantage of that, of course, is that we will have all these features which are tested and delivered to the production environments with the necessary bug fixes based on the feedback that Microsoft receives from all the partners and customers. So with this overview, I will also share these two slides on my blog and LinkedIn. What I've done is I've created a slide with hyperlinks to the roadmap documentation from Microsoft. So you can easily click through the slide and access what is the feature about and when it will be available, and will help all the partners or customers or consultants working on projects plan some of these activities. So that brings me to the end of October Wave topic. But I will end the session with a short demo of how an employee can interact with the Teams app for D365 HR. Let me go to the next slide for that. So what we are looking at now is a very basic interface of Teams, which all of us are familiar with. And what we're looking at is basically the employee is coming into the Teams and he's just saying hi. And we have a Power Virtual Agent chatbot which is interacting with the employee and mentioning, do you want to look at your leave balances? And the employee can type leave balances, and the chatbot will fetch the balances from Dynamics 365 Human Resources and presents it on the chat screen. The employee can next ask a bit of details on one of the leave type. For example, I want to know the balance details of the vacation leave type. Then I can just type it in the chat and submit it, and the chatbot will fetch the details of it. And it also gives me option to request time off. So I can directly say request time off on my vacation leave balance, and I get a response where I can select the start date of my vacation and the end date of my vacation, and directly submit the leave request from Teams. So this is a quick overview of the capability that Dynamics 365 HR app on Teams is capable of, and how employees use it on a day-to-day basis. So now you can see that the request is submitted for approval. And as an employee, I can also go to an overview screen, the time off tab on Teams, where I can see all the leave balances I have on different leave types, and also have a look at the leave requests that I've submitted and whether they're approved or not, what is the status of them. So that's a brief overview of the capability that is available in GA at the moment in October 2020, that customers and partners can already start implementing. So that brings me to the end of my session, and I want to leave it open for questions for some time if anybody has any questions to me about this. I'm just checking the chat screen. I think from Maurice, I have a question. Is the integration linked with LinkedIn somehow? Yes, there is a LinkedIn Talent Hub capability which is focused on recruitment lifecycle and also managing some more areas related to employee or candidate information. The expectation is to have integration between LinkedIn Talent Hub and Dynamics 365 human resources. The details of it is yet to be published in terms of what exactly the integration will cover. That's something to watch out on the roadmap documentation from Microsoft. That was one question I see on the chat. Any other questions from anybody else? Okay, good. I am available on my email, kamal@nocodehr.com, if you have any questions or if you have any topics related to D365 HR to discuss with me. I also write a blog, nocodehr.com. It's all about Dynamics 365 human resources and some capabilities around Power Platform, and also some topics related to digital HR and how HR transformations work. So please visit my blog and connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter to ask me any information or have a conversation with me if needed. To end with, I want to thank all the sponsors again, and also to Microsoft and 4Vision. 4Vision is a company I work for giving me this opportunity to be part of the event and present my session. And a special thanks to 365 Saturday team, Tricia, Shanila, all of you are doing a great job. And thanks for conducting such events and giving us opportunity to present some of these topics. To end with, there are prizes to be won, 3 $50 Amazon gift cards that can be won. The criteria is really simple. 2 of them will be given to the people who use hashtag the most on social media, and the other one will be raffled off at the end of the event for people who submit the survey about sessions. So you can use the short URL here to submit the survey about my session, or take a photo of the QR code that is shown on screen. So you'll be able to, you'll go to a Microsoft Forms where you can submit the feedback about the session. And if you plan to win the gift card, then you have to make sure you attend the closing session at the end of the day to be eligible for the gift card. So that brings to the end of my session. Thanks again, and hope you have a good day by attending the rest of the sessions. Thank you. Over to Tricia.
Thank you for that, Kamal. Very informative session. I'm going to open up a platform for anyone who has any final questions before I end the session.
Okay.
Okay, someone, I don't know if you saw this question, top one.
Yeah, I picked that one already.
Okay, great. Okay, so that brings us to the end. Thank you everyone for joining, and yeah, in case you want to know how to get the recording for this, I've pasted the link in the chat. I've highlighted it in red, so yeah, thanks everyone.
Thank you.